All right, guys. Today I'm just going to be looking at some of the top signings in free agency so far, at least. So, with that being said, let's not diddle around too long. Let's get into it. I'll be doing it by position as it is on PFF. Just I feel like this is an easy list to look at, and it just keeps it organized completely. So with quarterback, I think Sam Darnold signing with Seattle, when you compare it to like Baker re-signing in Tampa, one, you already know that Baker played good with your team. He's played good in the organization, right? But with Sam Darnold, there's a bit more question marks. I don't really know how the Seahawks coach is going to be able to help him. Their OC, Kubiak, he's not bad though, so I think he can help Darnold. And I think Darnold's going to still play solid football over the next couple years. I think he'll, be throwing for the high 3,000s in passing yards. He'll be throwing like high 20s, right? He's going to have some solid stats and he's going to play solid football, but I don't know if he's going to move the needle for them or really bring them to a true playoff contender. And that's how I felt about Geno Smith, too. I didn't think Geno Smith would help the Seahawks be a true playoff contender either. So I think that one's in and one's out. I think it's a slight upgrade because you're getting younger, and also Geno Smith wanted $10 million more per year, and he wanted a little bit. I think he still wanted 3 years, and considering he's 34, 35 now, I just don't think that would have been a great signing for them. So Justin Fields too. I it's just the Jets feel like a place where careers go to die, but I really don't want that to be the case for Fields. I think he'll fit in fine. It's gonna really depend what they do around him. Currently, the Jets O line is very spotty. So now looking at running back, you still have Brees Hall, who bit of a down year for him last year. There's a lot of question marks around Garrett Wilson, but it feels like a lot of those rumors have died down. So, and also pairing him up with who he played with in college, good move by the Jets there. So I don't think he'll be a bad signing, and I think he'll probably be the best quarterback the Jets have had. Man, I mean, for quite a bit. Right, I'm trying to think pre Sam Darnold. Like it's been a while. Also, Daniel Jones to the Colts. We're not gonna take too much time on that one. Right, I think it's a fine move. Give Anthony Richardson a small amount of competition. Not bad at all. So at running back, Aaron Jones decided to stay with Minnesota. 2 years, 20 million. It's not a bad contract at all. Not too much to go over there. Najee Harris actually is going to become a Charger. I don't hate this move at all. They've decided to move on from J.K. Dobbins, which is fine. He still did struggle through injuries last year, like the concern was going into the season. So I think Najee Harris, I think he'll really fit that style of offense they want to play. J.K. Dobbins, more elusive. Gus Edwards, maybe seen a little too much as a power back. So I think Najee Harris will at least kind of fill that in between to kind of be an every down back for him. Javonte Williams goes to the Cowboys. In my opinion, it was good for the Broncos just to let him go to free agency and not worry about re-signing him. And I think it's not like a huge upgrade from Rico Dowdle. And that's if it is an upgrade. So Chris Godwin re-signing in Tampa, I know that hurt a lot of people because felt like a bunch of teams were going for him. I think it's the right move for the Buccaneers. And there was a random report that said the Patriots might have paid way more for him, which it would have been an overpay. It said like 20 million more, I think, on the total contract. But you never know what the years might have been. But I think it's smart for Chris Godwin to return to the Buccaneers too. Just they have a solid team. They can probably contend for a Super Bowl too. But he's already won a Super Bowl. Some people's motives are different, so but maybe he does want another one, so he's gonna stay in Tampa. I think, like I said, good move for both sides. But a lot of teams definitely upset they missed out. Devontae Adams going to the Rams is fine. Um, Actually signed a bigger contract than some people might have thought he would. But he was still 1,000 yard receiver last year. He hasn't really taken a major dip yet, but I feel like he will within the next 2 years. Probably the second year of this contract, and especially if Cooper Cup Sounds like he won't be on the Rams next year. So, with that in mind, Devontae Adams may take his place as maybe the receiver two. Maybe they want him to be the one and let Nakua be the two. But Hopkins going to Baltimore, I think that's a good move for both sides. The Ravens going for, obviously, they're trying to contend for a Super Bowl. Bring Lamar in another weapon just to help him out a little more. With DeAndre Hopkins, go chase that ring and go be a contributing piece. He's not going to be a receiver one or two. Maybe could be a 3 or 4. I think Rashad Bateman should still be with the Ravens. So him and Zay Flowers will probably be above Hopkins, but I still don't think it's a bad move at all for the Ravens. I think it's good just to get that depth. Marquise Brown re-signing with the Chiefs. I think that's a good move for both sides. Slayton is going to stay with New York. At tight end, there's been quite a bit of talk, I feel like, for some of these guys. Zach Ertz ended up back with the Commanders, and it feels like everyone's just been re-signing. Mike Gesicki was a name some teams wanted. Evan Ingram met with the Broncos, but there hasn't been a word on it. So we're not too sure, but it feels like a lot of tight ends were just re-signing. And it's good. When you have a solid tight end, do your best to keep them unless they have some absurd ask. So Ronnie Stanley re-signing with the Ravens, I think that's a good move for both sides. He's been a great tackle for him so far, so just keep him there. Don't let him go, and keep using him. Moving to Morgan Moses, signs with the Patriots. Jedrick Wills Jr., he's actually an interesting name for me. It feels like part of what's taken him down has been injury, but I think that he's someone that you could have a bit of upside with if you're signing him to be your left tackle, or not even left, but to be a tackle on your team. He could probably try to fill the right too. So I think that he's a name to watch. Like maybe someone, I'm just trying to think of a team that might have missed out on a tackle. Maybe they don't have one. Maybe they don't think they'll get one in the draft. Just thinking here. Maybe a team like the Seahawks is a potential choice there. I think that'd be a decent fit for Wills. Um, so if you guys are enjoying this, I will be talking about free agency a lot over the next couple weeks and the draft too. So stay tuned for more. Like this video, comment your thoughts below. Oh, whoops, guys, not me go there. But continuing here with the interior, Ryan Kelly moves from the Colts to the Vikings. I think that's good to get a little bit of interior help there. Bradley Bozeman's gonna go back to the Chargers. Trey Smith was franchise tagged by the Chiefs. I think it's good for them to get a deal done. Trey Smith was a very solid guard for them. And Drew Dahlman signed with the Bears. The Bears have done a lot to help bolster that interior O-line. And I think that that's the moves that they need to be making right now. It's just to make sure to bolster that offensive line, try to get Caleb Williams a bit of help. It's something that he definitely missed last season, especially having the most sacks a Bears quarterback has had in franchise history in a season. So I think I like what the Bears have done so far. They're not making a lot of maybe like big moves, but they've been making good enough moves, right? That should help them move from what was like a bottom 10, 12 team last year to hopefully making that final wild card spot. So at edge, we saw Josh Sweat go to the Cardinals. 4 years, $76.4 million is not an awful contract. Hassan Reddick going to the Buccaneers. I do like that move for them. I think that getting even stronger on the edge. I'm trying to think of how old Shaq Barrett is or if he's still with them. I'm sorry, it's really not coming to me. Khalil Mack will be back with the Chargers, who actually released Joey Bosa, who ended up signing with the Bills after they extended Rousseau. I still like it. I think go ahead and get a bit of a 1-2. Obviously, I think Joey Bosa might be your 2 because of injury, but get that dual threat on the edges going, right? So, trying to look at other names that pop out to me. Dante Fowler Jr. hasn't signed anywhere yet. Leonard Floyd going to the Falcons. The Falcons really need to bolster defense, so it's good to see them, even if it's like not one of the big name guys, to at least going out there and trying to improve that defense. Milton Williams actually was very close to signing with the Panthers, it seemed like, but then he ended up flipping and going to the Patriots. 4 years, $104 million. That's a massive contract. And I think it's good that they also try to bolster the defense. That team just was not good in many spots last year. So seeing the Patriots go out there and spending their cap space, I know Pats fans are probably happy about that right now. So Grady Jarrett was actually signed to the Bears for 3 years, $43.5 million. I think he's a little on the older side, so it feels kind of likely that he may end up playing the rest of his career with the Bears because he'll be about 34, 35 by the time that's over. Jonathan Allen signing with the Vikings, 3 years, $60 million, not a bad contract at all. Moving to linebackers, saw a couple moves here. Dre Greenlaw going to the Broncos. I think it's good for the Broncos to go fix the holes on this defense because this defense was good. Now go ahead and make it great, right? Or honestly, they were great. Go ahead and make them elite. So picking up Dre Greenlaw, obviously they picked up 2 Niners. We'll talk about the other one later. Some injury concerns, but I think that they will end up panning out for him. Ernest Jones ends up re-signing with the Seahawks, which was actually part of an interesting trade earlier, like the start of the season, maybe a week before, when they did that kind of pick and player swap. But I think that's good for the Seahawks to try to keep some of those defensive pieces together. Cody Barton left the Broncos. They decided to let him walk. He's joining Tennessee. Moving to corners, there are actually a couple solid corner moves. Travarius Ward is signing with the Colts for 3 years, up to $60 million. I don't think that's an awful contract at all, and I think it's good that they didn't like overpay for him. Maybe I think it's a pretty fair deal. DJ Reed signing with the Lions, I think that's good for them. I assume they want I know his name, Terrion Arnold, to try to fill into that corner one spot soon. Hopefully next year. And DJ Reed, I think, can make a solid corner 2 for him to be a supporting role to him. Carlton Davis signing with the Patriots. Like I said, the Patriots are trying to use their money and the cap space that they have. I think that's good deals for them to do. Carlton Davis is a very solid corner, same contract as Ward. And I'd put him in the pretty close to the same category of player. Trying to find it, but the Panthers actually made J.C. Horn the highest paid corner in NFL history, which I think is a little ridiculous. He's not the best corner in the league, and it feels like a lot of contracts are always making someone the highest paid, but I think it was definitely an overpay, and I think it wouldn't have been a bad contract if there's like 10 million taken off of it, but I think they definitely did overpay. J.C. Horn did break out, and when he's healthy, he plays like a top 3 corner, top 3, top 5, but I think it was still an overpay. So at safety, Hufanga also signs with the Broncos. That's the other Niner I was talking about. And they've filled 2 major holes on defense that they came into free agency knowing they needed to fill. So in the draft, they may try to bring in some complementary pieces on that defense, but I think it's good that they're filling what they need. Justin Simmons, former Bronco, still hasn't signed anywhere. Not too surprising. I could see him waiting out this free agency period like he did last year. Javon Holland was probably the biggest safety name this year, I'd say. Even Bynum was, Cameron Bynum. But Javon Holland goes to the Giants for 3 years at $45.3 million. It's not an awful contract at all. I think it's good for the Giants to get some help in the secondary, even though they might not be contending soon. It's not like bad teams can't try to bring in a couple good players. Cameron Bynum signing with the Colts. The Colts were definitely trying to bolster that secondary a little bit to help with the pass defense. And I think that the Colts have done decent in free agency so far too. So thank you guys for checking this out. Just a quick video going over some free agency signings that have happened so far. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I hope you guys come back for more eventually.